Oh, this thing I think legitimately is like less than half the weight of the original battery that was in there.
What do they weigh, like 5 pounds or something?
I think this one, all in is like 15 maybe.
Okay.
But I remember I had a small like half-size battery.
Like a PC680 size.
This one weighs less.
Yeah. So you had one that was like the same, it's like a rectangle brick shape one, like the Odyssey PC680 or whatever.
That's exactly what I had.
Okay. Did Mitch set you up with that?
Yep. Yeah, that was the first one I ordered from him.
What made you switch from that?
I mainly wanted something bigger just with how much stuff I run off of it. Plus in Flagstaff it gets cold.
Oh,
and that little battery had a hard time cranking it over when it was basically freezing temperatures. So yeah, I went with something bigger. And originally when I wanted to, like with the way I wanted to do the build, I was gonna have the charge controller for the second battery mounted in the engine bay, but when I actually went through and did it, I put it in the back, so I didn't need that space anymore.
I gotcha.
So bigger
that
battery
makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Can you? So I've actually wanted to see your battery set up for a long time. Can you kind of share with me what we're looking at here with some of the some of the ground wires that you got going on and some of the other stuff coming off of here? Yeah.
So basically, all I've got up here is mostly the lights. Are on there, and then this fat one is for the actual battery, like the second battery. So I have a charge controller in the trunk, so there's a pair of wires that run the entire length of the vehicle, all the way to the back.
You just kind of tucked them up under the trim and stuff.
Yep. Yeah. So I actually busted through, right, there's like a little grommet right where the clutch pedal is, and I went through there and then just tucked them in on the inside all the way back to the trunk. And it's almost like Subaru thought of this, because that slot was exactly the right size for it. So
yes, that's actually one of my favorite spots to go through when I'm doing any wiring. And then this is just like an A&L fuse, or?
Yep, just a fuse for the charge controller.
That's so can you explain what a charge controller is? Sorry, I'm picking your brain here.
You're good. So actually, what it is, it's a DC to DC charger. So what it actually does, I have another lithium battery in the back, and it'll charge off the 12 volt, but there are specific charging patterns for the batteries, and especially once it's full, you don't want to keep charging it. So the charge controller takes care of all of that.
Perfect.
So if you want to see, I can actually show you.
Yes, let's take a look. Is that literally an oil bag?
Yeah.
Like for a quart of oil?
Yeah.
Bro, the sickest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god.
Got a 10710, bro.
Let's go. They don't sell that anymore, do they?
No, they don't.
Yeah, I know blip shift is very like one and done type of thing.
So if you look at it, like, it looks pretty much stock from underneath, so you can't tell, but so that's the original like trunk cover. But what I did is I actually wound up raising the floor a little bit.
I gotcha.
So I could actually
dude, this thing is massive.
Mitch actually custom made me a mount for this battery. So it's a 100 amp hour lithium battery. So I've run my fridge off of it for days on end without ever having to recharge. So I've got my little control panel back here.
Okay, so you did use a Blue Sea. That's what's up. Oh dude, I love that. I love their products.
Oh,
their stuff is so good. That's rad. Okay, so when we're looking at this, what is this? What exactly are we looking at here? So we've got the your voltage here, right?
Yep.
And then when you flipped that switch, what did that mean?
So that was just turning it on. So usually just have this panel off, so it means there's no power to it. So you can plug stuff in. So I've got a normal 12 volt, and then I've also got a pair of USBs in there as well. But
now if you wanted, so this thing is always, you don't have to tell this thing to start charging the battery. It just does it automatically? I
can actually have a switch in the front where I can tell it to charge. So I usually just charge it up to like 80% and then leave it, and then every now and then I'll turn it back on. But I actually have a switch wired in, so I can flip it in the front to actually send power to this to actually start charging the battery.
Dude, I can't tell you how much bigger this thing looks in person, because I've seen this picture. Me and Mitch used it on their website, a picture of this. And yeah, without seeing it in person, I had no idea how massive this
was. Yeah, it was a massive battery, but it fits in, and then all I had to do was raise the trunk floor by 30 millimeters, and it looks pretty stock, so I can just throw my trunk mat the original one in there and have it be covered. So
that's so sick. And then what are we looking at here?
So that's the actual charge controller. So that's where those red wires that you saw coming from the front, that's where they come out. That's where they come in.
That's crazy. So, what kind of charge controller is this?
It's a Renogy. I think it's a 30 amp DC to DC charge controller and charger. Okay,
so I'm only asking because you seem way smarter than me, but what does DC to DC mean?
So it's just direct current to direct current. So like all the cars run on DC, and then like the houses run on AC, which is alternating current.
Okay.
But this is just direct current.
Well, so I have no idea what it means. Dude, this is so sick. Yeah, I asked Mitch some question about batteries, about wiring a second battery, and I was like, do you know anybody that knows more about that, or what do you know? And he's like, oh, you need to holler at my friend Anthony. I was like, you mean our friend Anthony? Okay, so those wires coming straight from the front battery come all the way into this side of the charge controller.
Yep.
And then there's an outside
that hooks up to
straight to the battery. Dude, that is so rad. And then what's this little red wire we got going on?
This one?
Yeah.
That's just going to the panel.
That's right. Okay, perfect.
So that's just straight to the panel.
Hey man, wiring for dummies here, dude. I don't know jack.